Good evening. My name is Dr. Wallace Bradley, and I'm the host of the Bradley Report. This show is also presented by United Peace, Inc. And issues that I bring to this show is with the help and the advice from none other than the chairman of United Peace, Inc., and that's my wife, Terry Marsh Bradley. The CPS owed the city of Chicago $175 million. The CEO of CPS know that come June he's going to leave CPS because he put in to get a job somewhere else. And therefore, he was blocking CPS board from making the right decisions for the betterment of Chicago schools. CTU is getting the right to possibly strike when they had a plan going in where there was no need to strike. The people that's against CTU, that's against the mayor, are the same individuals who was pretty much responsible for the situation that CPS is in. So all that I'm saying, it's encompassing on the new board to accept that responsibility. I know you got people on the board that's against the mayor. But those that's on the board that's concerned about the education of all the children, I hope you do the right thing and vote to give Chicago back that $175 million. Because once you do that, then it's encompassing on the state to do with what they're doing with other school districts around the country, giving them the money that they need to operate. So without further ado, Amani, let's go to work.
At City Hall today, Mayor Brandon Johnson keeping up the pressure on the Board of Education to take out a short-term loan to pay for mounting costs.
WGN political reporter Taman Bradley is here with details. Hi, Taman.
Hi, Micah. Hi, Ben. The city is sending a record $311 million in TIF funds to CPS, but it's not enough to cover projected costs. Now, the mayor, the board, and the district must come up with a solution. It's a $175 million question. Who should pick up the tab on a CPS pension contribution for non-teacher staff? Mayor Johnson's administration is pushing hard for the Chicago Public Schools to pay for it. And they're warning that if the city doesn't get the funds before March 30th, it might close its books on 2024 with a deficit. Mayor Johnson's recommendation is that the school district take out a loan to cover the costs.
It's no secret that we have been pushing for the Board of Education to take responsibility of their workers.
CPS CEO Pedro Martinez, at odds with the mayor and in a legal battle with the Board of Education, does not want to borrow to cover the payment. But ultimately, the final decision will be made by the partially elected, partially appointed school board.
The Board of Education has options now that has not been articulated from the CEO, but it's clear that they do. And we're going to work with the board to explore all of these options.
In a letter to parents last week, Martinez argued the payment would use up money needed to fund a new contract for the Chicago Teachers Union. City Council is divided on the pension payment. Some alders have hinted the city should consider withholding funds until they make the payment. Others think the city must step up.
Trying to tell them that they have to take on a $175 million pension payment means they either have to make cuts in the middle of contract negotiations or potentially refinance and borrow money to pay off a debt. Neither of those are good options, and if you're borrowing, you could potentially bankrupt the system for future generations.
Meanwhile, the Chicago Teachers Union is upping its heat on the district, having finished the legal process needed to vote to authorize a strike. Do you believe the CTU would strike when one of its members occupies the fifth floor?
I share the frustration. There are individuals that are not working in good faith on behalf of the expectations that the people of Chicago have. The people of Chicago have spoken. They have. They trust my vision for public schools.
No strike vote has been taken, and both sides continue working towards a deal. As for the pension payment, a report commissioned by the school board found that as many as 10 to 11 district-wide furlough days would be needed to cover the cost of the pension. The board meets on Thursday.
Oh, I'm sorry. You know, the mayor's 100% correct. It's not on him. He's been talking about this. People have been fighting him on it, yet they want him to fix it. He's telling them what has to happen in order for them to fix it. Everybody knows that the CEO is the reason that we're in this situation that we're in now. He went to court to stop this and to stop that, and so he's right. It's on him. It's on them. But the new board that everybody wanted to be elected, an elected school board, now has that responsibility to do what's right for CPS. So go on and vote. To pay that $175 million. And then do the right thing, school board. Get in there and everybody work together to fix it. And everybody that's against the school board doing the right thing, that's against CTU, that's against the mayor, check their pedigree and see how quiet they were when Rahm got rid of the 50+ schools, when Paul Vallis did what he did to disrupt the finance for the schools, the banks that watched and allowed public education to get to a point where it is now. You got an educator that's a mayor whose children go to public school that understand the problem. So school board, you elected now. So Thursday, cast the vote to do what's right. Cast the vote in order to find the revenue to avoid a school teacher strike. And CTU was saying all the time the money was there. Where'd it go? You got $300-some million from the TIF fund, which would have took care of the debt that they had to pay, as well as had money for the school teacher strike. Where'd it go? And the CEO is about to run up out of there. Nationally and internationally, there's talk that Putin talked with President Trump to stop the war in the Ukraine. And we probably would never get the full conversation of what happened in that meeting. Because the last time I heard Putin or read about Putin and Donald Trump in a meeting was during Trump's first time he got elected. And President Trump was told, from what I read, from what I heard in the news media, not to bring his translator into the meeting, not to bring U.S. news media in the meeting. But Putin had his translator in the meeting, had his media in the meeting. Not to bring his security people in the meeting. So you can rest assured, we'll never really know what happened in that meeting today or on that phone conversation today. But people are realizing around the world that Putin is destroying America and didn't fire a shot. He's destroying America from within by using Donald Trump. The national, what is she, the National Intelligence Advisor or whatever she is, National Security Intelligence Advisor. When she was going through the confirmation, everyone was saying that the people in Russia called her Putin's girlfriend. Google it. I read it. I'm just telling you. Trump feel like he don't have to obey any court orders. Him and Elon Musk feel like they can take everything away. They destroying America. They're like termites. They destroying America. And they're not just affecting the blue states. They're affecting the red states. They're affecting a lot of the MAGA people that voted for it. By cutting Medicaid, Social Security, and everything else as if it was no poor MAGA people in the South that's hurting. The farmers. You seeing it on the news like I'm seeing it on the news. But come 2026, people, I ain't talking just Republicans or Democrats, people got to come out and vote for their best interest, and they realizing that Trump and the Republican Party that's in there now cares nothing about them. So without further ado, we're going to stick to what matters most, is what's happening locally here. Amani, let's go to the next one.
Paper this morning, I know people are concerned about the future of the Democratic Party and concerned about what direction we're going. And I thought I wanted to share with all of you the headline that I read this morning, which is Democratic leaders stand real still in hopes that no one will notice them. That, of course, was a headline from The Onion. Luckily, CAP has long been a bulwark developing better policies for working people. And in these first 2 months of President Musk's administration, you've stepped up. CAP has really done an amazing job of, building a reputation for many years, but putting it to good work and good use just over the last, 60 days. So thank you. Boy, oh boy, do we need you, and keep going. I got into this work for much the same reason that many of you probably did. Policy at its core is the result of choices that we make about the kind of world that we want to live in? What kind of future do we want? In Deuteronomy chapter 16, verse 20, we're commanded justice. Justice shall you pursue. Justice. And I was taught by my parents that when you see injustice, you don't look the other way. You do something to right the wrong. But the meme lords and the minions in the White House conceive of themselves as kings and nobles who have the divine right to order the world in a way that best suits them and their fellow kleptocrats. People's lives are a game to them. I really think that's how they think. During Donald Trump's first term, when COVID was running rampant, we governors begged him to help us. Begged. The President of the United States has the unique power to invoke the Defense Production Act. It's a law designed to ensure the supply of materials and services for national defense during crises. We needed masks and ventilators to save people's lives that were dying in our hospitals. And U.S. companies were price gouging, and I called many of them myself and talked to the CEOs. They were price gouging state and local governments, police and firefighters, hospitals and clinics. He could have fought for us. He really could have. Instead, he made self-serving deals. He would send life-saving equipment if only we would agree to praise him on the Sunday talk shows. That is literally a deal that he put in front of me. I was desperate.
We saw where Senate Minority Leader, United States Senate Minority Leader, made a decision that he felt was a good decision when he had to choose between two bad proposals that Republicans were presenting. The Democrats had a strategy where they were going to stick together so that the people can see the Democratic Party is fighting for them, which happened to be the only strong alternative party to what they're witnessing. And anybody can come and vote. You know, the mad MAGA Republicans or the independents. And now they saying, well, there's an inner war with the Democratic Party. Ain't so much inner war with the Democratic Party. Sometimes we got to understand, Trump and his MAGA people do not believe in the rules or the Constitution. They lawbreakers. They don't care. They don't care about no rules. To fight an individual like that, you have to be morally sound. And if they throwing chairs, you got to throw chairs back and don't break the window. What I mean by that, we got to stand together because now America is seeing who was right and who was wrong. Everybody is hurting, except for the 1% that Trump is protecting. Since when have you seen a president do a car commercial on the White House lawn or in front of the White House for a supporter for Elon Musk? He said he lost 100-some billion. And Trump do a commercial for him because Elon Musk gave some money to him. And that's pay to play. And they do it blatantly. Like it's nothing because he feels like as long as he's the president, he can't go to jail. But the consumers and the people are the ones that's bringing Elon Musk Tesla stock down to the point his board members is calling him to task. That's people power. And people is coming together. That's all I can tell you. And one thing I want to say, like the governor in Maryland said, the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, talking about God, do not reside in the White House. So I want to say, stay prayerful, continue to walk by faith in God, praise Him, thank Him, love your family, hug your family, and to God be the glory.